Hi, it's Tanya from My Forking Life, and today we're in the kitchen and we're making your favorite air fried steak, which is really just steak that you make in an air fryer. Also, we're gonna top that steak with garlic or butter. Now, if you like this kind of content, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Also, hit that bell notification so you're notified every time I upload a new video. Also, please give me a thumbs up if you like this content. All right, so let's get started. I have got here 2 ribeye steaks. They're a little bit on the thin side, but you get what you get these days. And we are going to make these in our air fryer. Now, I've already pulled them from the fridge so we can knock that chill off of these steaks before we air fry them. So I'm just gonna go ahead and set that to the side. All right, so the next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna create our garlic herb butter that we're gonna top on top of our steak. So I've got here a stick of butter that I took out the fridge it's been about 40 minutes. I wanna get it softened, and I'm gonna give it just a little bit of a chop so that we can mash it up just a little bit easier. Good. It's so soft, it's sticking to the knife. Just gonna roughly chop that. And this is unsalted butter, if you're wondering. That's pretty much the only kind of butter that I use so that I can control the amount of salt that I put in the recipe. Now my hand's all buttery. All right, the next thing I'm gonna add is garlic. I've got 2 cloves here that I'm about to crush. I'm gonna use my garlic crusher. Go ahead and crush that. Got some parsley here, and I'm gonna go ahead and chop this up. And you want about 2 tablespoons of that parsley. Go ahead and just add that to your butter mixture. All right, and because we want to flavor this up just a little bit more, I've got here some Worcestershire Sauce. Gonna add about a teaspoon of that, as well as about half of a teaspoon of regular kosher salt. And I'm just gonna mash that all together. Ooh. That's enough mixing because I'm tired of mixing, but as you can see, our butter is pretty mixed here. So I've got here some parchment paper. Grab a little bit here. I'm gonna dump this butter right in the middle. Like this. Put it over the side. Use this. Kind of try to roll this into a nice little log. Look how easy that is. Oh my goodness. And I'm just gonna continue to roll this up. And I'm gonna put this in the fridge. And when I'm ready for it, I'll take it out to top on my steak. All right, so now I'm gonna go ahead and preheat my air fryer. Essentially all I'm gonna do is turn it on, crank that heat up to 400 degrees. And I'm gonna let it run for about 4 minutes to go ahead and preheat. And while that's preheating, I'm gonna go ahead and season these steaks. It's been 20 minutes. They are ready to get seasoned up and put in the air fryer. I've got here a little bit of olive oil. Just gonna add just a little bit. Not a lot. Add that to both sides. And if I didn't say that earlier, this is ribeye steak. It's already gonna have a lot of flavor. So because of that, I just really season mine with just a little bit of salt and freshly cracked black pepper. Season it how you want. My husband loves putting jerk seasoning on his. I just keep it simple with the salt and pepper. And no cross-contamination. I'm throwing away this salt. Now our steaks are ready for the air fryer once it finishes preheating. Now this is one of those recipes as well where you want to kind of know your air fryer, right? Because In the initial air fryer that I cooked my steaks in, they were a little bit thicker, and I did 12 minutes, 6 minutes per side. For these steaks, they're a little bit thinner. I'm going to start with 5 minutes per side on 400 degrees, and I'm going to use a quick read thermometer to check the temp to make sure that I don't overcook them. Now, if you go over to the blog post, I do have the different temps for rare steak, medium well, well done, however you prefer your steak. But it's gonna have to be one of those things where you're just gonna have to test it. But for me, for this thickness of steak, I'm going to start at about 10 minutes, 5 minutes per side, flipping each way. Because I am super duper careful and I don't want the steak to stick to the basket, I'm gonna go ahead and spray the bottom of the basket first. And I'm gonna go ahead and place my steak in there. All right. Adjust that temp to 5 minutes. And I'll be back to check on those steaks and possibly flip them in 5 minutes. All right, so my air fryer just went off. It's been 5 minutes. This is what they look like halfway through. And I'm just gonna test this just so you can see where we're at the halfway mark. We're at 125. So these are super duper thin. So I'm actually not even gonna go 10 minutes. I'm probably just gonna go, I'm gonna flip them. Voila. Different air fryers, different results, I tell you. I'm gonna give these another 3 minutes on this side. Actually, I'm gonna check it at 2. And then check it again at 3. You're my best friend when it comes to making these steaks. Because what I don't want to do is I don't want to overcook the steak. I also don't want to undercook the steak. So this is my secret weapon. Alright. It's been 2 minutes. Let me see a little bit. Oh God. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and just check that again. We're at 142 on that steak. This one is registering at 137. Both good for me. So I'm taking them out. So that was actually 7 minutes in total. Huge difference, but again, these are thin ribeyes. You really gotta pay attention to the thickness of your steak when it comes to making the steak. And I am going to let these rest for 5 minutes. I'm gonna cover them with a little bit of foil. I'm gonna poke a little bit of a hole in it. It's that heavy duty foil. There we go. I'm just gonna cover that and let that rest to the side for about 5 minutes before I slice into it. Oh, and don't forget that garlic herb butter. Let me grab that. All right, so now that I've picked my steak, I'm gonna go ahead and make sure I top that with my garlic herb butter. May not be the prettiest thing in sight, but it's super duper tasty. Just gonna pop a big, actually I'm gonna take 2 little smidgets of that. I'm gonna spread that. Okay, I'm not gonna eat all that butter, but I'm gonna go ahead and slice into this baby. And it's so tender and so delicious. How's that look? So you guys can see what that looks like. And it's so tender. Like, steak in the air fryer is just super duper tender. Now, these are ribeye that are on the thinner side, but you know, I'm gonna get rid of that fat right there. All right, so there you have it. Delicious steak made in your air fryer. Until the next time.